Okay, the assignment here, you will have already done this top part, and now you're ready to um, go to Makecode and animate your sprite. Your sprite will need to have an idle animation and a left, right, up, and down animation. So I will explain that in more detail. The directions are found right here. When you come in, it's going to have the basic idea of what you're going to do. You're going to animate it to move in different directions, up, down, left, and right, and it has a different animation for each. The first part here talks about animation basics, which it's just basic frames that give the illusion of motion. The and all animations work that way, even the type that are drawn out. Here we have an animation of a slash attack. You can see that it's made up of these 9 different still images, and when you put them together, it gives the illusion of motion. So cycles, computer games run in cycles, and so a basic cycle will give you the animation that you want, just repeating it over and over. And the idle cycle, which is the one that you're going to have to do, is when your sprite is motionless. Well, I shouldn't say motionless, not moving. We want to give it a little bit of character as it's doing that. So you can see that this idle animation is made up of these 4 frames, and it kind of gives the illusion that the dinosaur's just kind of hopping there waiting to move. Then you'll have your walk frames, and then in this case, these 6 slides make up the walk animation. And you can see here, this one would be to the right. You'd need to make the animation go to the left, and there's a quick way to do that. You can just flip images, and I'll show you how to do that if I remember. So you can see there how that works. Then as you go down, you're going to create your sprite in Makecode, and this is the directions on what to do. And you're welcome to follow these if you would rather, or you can follow the rest of this video, and it'll talk you through how to make these different animations. Okay, so where are we going to do this? Obviously, we're going to do it in Makecode Arcade. Pixel art. And when we come in, the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to have a background. So in our scene, we can set our background image. I'm going to use one from the gallery and use this one here. And then after we've done that, we need to create a sprite that we're going to use throughout the whole thing. In this case, we're going to, for time's sake, so you don't have to watch me drawing them all the time, I'm just going to use one that already exists. You guys can animate your own character the way you need to. So now I have that in there. We're going to want to set our sprite to bounce off the wall, which should work fine. You can also use stay in screen, but in the tutorial they use this, so we'll go ahead and use that. And we're going to move our sprite with buttons. And we can change the velocity of that. If it's moving too fast for you, you just click on that plus sign, and then you can change this velocity here. And now we need to go to, initially there is in the advanced section, there is an animation, but there's only these 4 blocks. So we need to add some more animations to that. So let's go to, or blocks to that. So let's go to extensions and click on the animation. And now when we click on it, we have a few more choices. We're going to need to set our idle animation. So initially, we're going to need to make a variable, and we'll call that animation idle. And so now that we have that, we can go into our animation, and let's set this animation. We need to choose the animation idle. And since it is idle, we want to change it from walking to idle. Um, so now it knows this variable is related to this created animation that's called idle. Now we need to attach the animation. So we're going to come in, we're going to attach this animation. We're going to make it idle again. It'll give you an error if you don't do that at this point because it doesn't know what animation by itself is. And it's going to be set to our sprite, so that's good. Now we're going to add some frames. So this frame right here I'm going to add in. And this one is obviously our idle animation frame. So now if I click on it, I'm going to go to my gallery. I'm going to click this one. Done. So now I have that one in there. I need to add another frame, duplicate to have a little bit more movement. So now when I click on this, I can come in here. And what I want to do is I'm going to use this marquee tool. And I'm going to select this shield. And I want to move this shield up one. So that it's going to look like the shield's moving up and down when I'm idled. Now I need to obviously change, get this in here and then the eye. And that should give us what we want when we do that. Now, since I just need these 2 frames for my idle animation, now to check to see if it works, I need to activate my idle animation. So I'm going to go here, change it to idle. And now when we go in, we should, and you see there, it's just moving up and down. You might want to speed that up a little bit. It's kind of slow. Hide that, bring that back here. So I'm going to bring this interval to 500 to make it go a little bit faster. Okay, so now I've taken care of my idle animation. I need to go in and make my moving to the right and moving to the left stuff. So I'm going to start off here. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this one. You could bring in a new one if you want. I need a new variable for this one. So we're going to call it animate walk right. So this one's going to be when I walk to the right. I need to change it to that. And right here we have this idle, which isn't going to work. We need to add a new action, and we'll call it walk right. Space. So, all right. So now I have my walk right at an interval of 500. I think I need to move that down a little bit. It's probably 200. Whoops. Okay, and now I have set my animation. Now we need to attach that animation. So I'm going to duplicate this one. And this is our walk right. Should be good there. Now I need to add in my frames for that. So I think I'm going to need 4 of them. Probably a good idea to go ahead and change these right away so you don't forget about that. And I'm going to, for the right one, we're going to start here. And that should take care of all our animations to the right. Let's see, I've attached it. And so I need to wait to activate it. I'm going to activate it in some other code over here in a if-else statement. So I think I'm good with that. So now what you'll do next is you just got to kind of keep repeating this. So now we need a walk left animation. So you're going to come in here, make this one animate walk left, attach an animation, animate walk left, and then add your frames. And they'll just all be going, just keep adding them on right underneath your on start. Okay? Once you have that taken care of, oh, one thing I did want to show you while I'm thinking about it. Let's go here. So, like, if I wanted to do the right and left, if I think, let me see if this works this way. Um, can't seem to select the whole thing, which is kind of strange. But let's see if I. That ain't it. There we go. This mirror over here, and then once I've done that, I can move it over to the side. So now I have, if you've done something to the right, now you can just make it flip over to the left. We want to take that out of this, get back to this, but that I did want to show you real quick. Okay, so continue on making the rest of that. What it will end up looking like when you're finished is, let me bring this over here. So when you get finished, you'll have your animations walking right, your animations walking left, your animations walking down, etc. And then this on-game update portion, this is how you're going to get these different things to activate when you need them to. And the cool way we're going to do this is by if our sprite is moving or not. So if your sprite is moving and its velocity in the x direction is greater than 0, so your velocity here, if you move this direction, it's going to be greater than 0. If you move to the left, your x velocity is going to be less than 0. So here you can see if it's greater than 0, then activate my animation for walking right. If it's less, my x velocity is less than 0, then you need to animate your walking left animation. Then here, I did this. I had to put this in. You may or may not have to. It depends. The only way to get my idle to work was to say, hey, if my x velocity is 0 and my y velocity is 0, then activate my idle animation. And then finally here, I have if my my y velocity, so my up and my down are greater than or less than 0 or greater than 0, then do the walking down animation. And so when you go in here and look at it, you can see as I move right and left, I've got the animations I want. And then my up and down animation is actually kind of the same. It didn't make sense to have it be different. So that's why I only had to put in one of those. But that's how you're going to do that. And hopefully that helps.